How fake I am. My desk only gets cleaned when I'm gonna film something.
All right, so I woke up today. I started my day today reading a tweet from Notch that I thought would be interesting conversation discussion for us to have since we're all either coders or coding enthusiasts here. So Notch dropped a really interesting tweet. He said, "Write your own game engine. Authors don't download a story template for their books and then see how much they can be creative within those limits. They start from scratch. So can you. It's not difficult. And it makes for more interesting games compared to making a game." And then someone replies, "You have too much faith in modern developers." And then Notch quote tweets that and says, "If you can't make your own game engine, they are not programmers. If they cannot. It's like a chef who can only make frozen pizza." What? A lot to unpack here. Whoops. First things first, I have to disclose that although I might disagree with Notch here, given the climate that we're in, I have to let you know. Just because I disagree with Notch here doesn't mean that I hate him, doesn't mean I want him canceled, okay? This is what I believe is common sense, but it's the climate we're in, I have to let you know. I don't know how much this analogy is actually true. In fact, like I would even argue that authors do use story templates quite often. Like the Avatar movie by James Cameron, that's just Pocahontas, dog. I mean, one of the oldest stories told through time. I don't know where this idea of like story templates, I'm sorry, of templates in general are bad. I don't know where this idea of like standing on the shoulders of giants is bad. I actually disagree that it makes more interesting games, because if you have to spend 2 to 3 years to make the engine before you can make the game, like you're going to get less games as a result. Not to mention Notch, he's a very successful game developer, and I am very, very, very sensitive when it comes to survivorship bias. But anyways, my reply to his tweet about they can't make their own game engine, they're not programmers. It's like a chef who can only make frozen pizza. My reply was, I genuinely believe that if you think you have to make your own game engine to be a programmer, you are not in fact a programmer. Programming is far more than just like what you're able to do ability-wise. I think programming, to put it very simple, is just solving problems with code. That's it. And if using a template or an engine will help you solve those problems faster or more efficiently, go for it. If you get a job, right, and it's a little difficult because game engines are very niche to game developers, but let's assume there's like an Unreal Engine or Unity equivalent for traditional programming. I mean, like React or blah, 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 right? If your boss is like, we have this problem that we're trying to solve. Are you a real developer? Are you a real programmer? Then you'll be able to solve this issue, right? And then you take Notch's advice here and you're like, me big real programmer, me not use libraries that already exist because me big real programmer, me do from scratch. You'll probably be fired by the end of the year. I don't know. None of this makes any sense. I smell like survivorship bias heavy. Notch is an incredibly lucky person who, I'm not saying he's not talented. I'm not saying that whatsoever. He's lucky in the sense that he has one of the world's most popular games in human history. I don't know Notch, but it seems like his perspective is very much driven by that luck that he struck. And so now he's like casting this cast of like, if you don't make your own game engine, then you're not a real programmer like us over here. And also his age, maybe he was from the era where like you were making your own game engines on the Commodore 64 or some shit. I don't know. What are your thoughts? That's my thoughts. I think it's kind of foolish. I think there's a little bit of survivorship bias. Again, I don't know Notch, but I think it's ridiculous. Maybe you disagree. Tell me your thoughts. I'd love to read your. Ayo, sound the alarms. Time for some Google product slander. All right, straight up. I have a game. It's called Ultra Bouters. Go download it now on Android and iOS. The reason why I love mobile is because of the data that you can collect on it. Now, I'm using Firebase for my serverless backend, and it's really simple to start collecting events. And then you can use these events to create a bunch of different data visualizations, right? And so in Google Analytics, I made this funnel here in which I'm tracking the first open after download. So like new users, they download it. There's a event I'm calling called init success. And then following that, we go to the menu and I'm tracking how many people go from basically opening the app to hitting the play button. And I'm trying to increase this to be as high as possible, right? And I love this funnel because I can easily track how well I'm doing on this journey. However, there's a big issue, and it's that this is a snapshot from January 7th to the 14th. And so if I wanted to see it over time, I have to literally come in here and change the dates one at a time, right? On the 13th, it was 40%. What's it looking like yesterday? Yesterday it went up by 3.5%. But this is tedious, and it's not really intuitive on, is it getting better over time? Is it getting worse over time? Especially if I make changes, does it increase? Does it decrease? And so you would think that you could then make a new data visualization to extract this number out over time, right? Well, the best I found is this. Let me get a bigger date range here. This is the best that I found. Pretty good. But the issue is that this is not a percentage. This is the number of events that were fired for that day following this funnel, which is kind of useless. It's pointless, right? If I have a good day, let's say it goes to 40 event triggers, right? That 40 event triggers, it doesn't tell me that it could be 10% of the people who first downloaded actually ended up pressing the button. Even though it's higher than 10, and this 10 could be like 50%, and the 40 could be 10% representative. And so this can't be the end all be all, right? There's no way that Google would collect all this data and not give you the proper tools to be able to analyze it. And that's actually correct. They have another tool that they call Looker Studio, in which you can take a lot of the data that they collect from the Google Analytics and visualize it differently here. And I just started to play with this yesterday, so I'm still learning it a bit. As you can see, here's the number of first opens over time, which is pretty useful. This is the same graph, just interactive. This is the number of first opens to plays. So kind of like the graph that we were looking at. If I expand this out, it should match. Yeah, there you go. So it kind of matches if you look there and you look there. So I'm able to recreate it. So far, so good. You know, it's a pretty useful tool. Really happy about it. But then I go to try and recreate the funnel. And this is where things start to get a little wonky. Say that I want to evaluate the day of the 11th. On the 11th, it says that there's 18 users that first opened. 16 of them had a successful init. And then 9 of them then went on to press the play button. We can see how that matches up with the 11th. It should match. Actually, I haven't tested it. Okay, and you see it matches up here, right? 18, 11? No, never mind, match up. Not one, but it loosely follows it. And see, you see what I mean? Now, I'm already starting to get a little confused. 18 matches, but the other 2 don't. Why? I don't know. Documentation is a fucking mess. I've read somewhere that there's extra processing on this funnel where they like can validate fraudulent event triggers, and like this one doesn't validate the fraudulent or repeat event triggers or something of the matter. But that's not where it really gets spooky. It really gets spooky for some reason when I go to even dates. Watch what happens. When I go to even dates, for some reason, the init success is higher than the first open. But that's not the case here for the native funnels in Google Analytics. First open is correct. The first open always matches, which is good. But init success is 5 here, and on here it's 13. And it's just fucking annoying. I just want to be able to analyze user behavior. That's all. That's it. Is that a big ask, dude? Like, you have this incredibly valuable tool that you're offering us developers, but like, oh my goodness, man, I have to read like a whole dictionary just to understand like what the hell am I even looking at? Why does it not match? Furthermore, I learned that this funnel that I am using, it's not actually funneling them, not actually filtering them from like sessions with first open versus sessions with init success. In fact, I think this is like all sessions period, regardless if it's first open or not. I watched tutorials for like a whole 45 minutes. I could not figure out how to filter it to save my life. And it's just frustrating. It's just really frustrating. I did learn last minute that there is another tool on top of the analytics tool that is on top of the Looker Studio tool called BigQuery, in which you can create queries within the data itself, like on the ground level, and then you can send that to Looker Studio. But it's like I don't want to have to learn. Sorry, hold on. I don't want to have to learn how to make those queries and then spend the time to like validate and make sure the queries are correct, just so I can import into the data thing so I can visualize the data and I have a mistake, I have to go back to the query. It's just like, what is going on? Why does it have to be this difficult? Google, please. Truly, I'm just trying to make a good game. And if I'm not using data to drive my decisions, to enhance and amplify user behavior, I'm just swinging in the dark, and I think success is far less likely. It's just frustrating. But thank you for listening to my rant. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but keep me in your thoughts, all right? Anyways, my manga comes out tomorrow, and there's still a couple of tasks that I have to do to make sure it's ready. So I think I'm gonna spend most of the hours just make sure this is done, and then I'm gonna get back to editing the Jabril's video to finish out the night. So this is what I got back from the artist. I was hoping for a bit more of a stylized approach to this, not kind of like copy. I think he might have copied directly one for one the line that I outlined it. Uh, I don't know. I asked for a note to see if he can change it really quick before tomorrow. If not, I'm probably gonna go without this. I don't. This feels very unintentional and it feels very distracting. All right, so one of the last thing I need to do that's most time consuming is I have this scene here where the soldier is on the little communicator device on this page, and I essentially just need to turn this character into be that soldier. It's gonna take a good amount of work. I might lazy it out, and the reason is because I like to do this thing with the end cover where it's a 3D representation of a page or just like the world, the environment. And I'm gonna put that soldier here to kind of replicate this page in 3D. So I'm gonna spend a good like hour getting that done. Then there's one more thing I have to do, but I don't know. We'll address it when I get there. Okay, that took way longer than I was expecting it to, but it's complete. Here it is. It gets the job done. I recreated the frame successfully. However, I realized that my plan from the start was to recreate this frame, like the simplified version with the new message and all that, but I went ahead and did the full model version. Whatever. I had fun doing this, and I'm glad that I have it, but it's done. It's over. I still have that one more task that I have to do, which put simply, I have this promo page for Ultra Bouters in the manga, and I was gonna give a free code. I'm sorry, a free item to everyone who redeems it. But one, I wanted to make an exclusive item, Hacksware related, that I have not made yet. Two, I also don't have the feature for people to be able to redeem a general code like that yet. It's 2 in the morning. The launch is literally in like 8 hours. I might just throw it in the game real quick. I don't know, but I'll keep you updated. Okay. I am not false advertising. I have proof. Okay. It is in game. Okay. Check it out. If you go up here, you hit redeem, you type in the password from the manga. It's Hacksware Paragon Chapter 2, and then trying to be random. And you hit search, and you'll see here you have redeemed Hacksware Paragon Chapter 2 Spar Relic. Check your inventory for it. And then when I close it out, you'll see there it is. It's the Spar Relic from Chapter 2. I'm not false advertising, okay? The feature is in the game. Go download Ultra Bouters today. Get your exclusive item. It'll be there all year. I did it. I'm off to bed now. Oh shit, I have to give the edit to the AI to do.